Kind of a fun hand. Kind of a fun hand. Where shall I put it? Should I put the hand here? No, we'll do this. So we got a mono board. Gonna give myself that size, and I want to make this quick, so you can, yeah, don't at me and say, hey, why aren't you using different sizes? Why are you just going to give yourself one size? It's because I just want to get this hand done as quickly as possible, and I'm not going to say what if I have 37 different turn sizes that I have in my arsenal. I'm just going to look what the strategy looks like when I use the sizing that I used. I'm just going to have a quick look. Whether the sizings are optimal or not, that's not for me to say. That's for you to work out. And we're done. Hey, that was very nice and quick. That was very nice. So when we use a small size, and we got this this kind of raise first turn strategy, which is kind of okay. Yeah. Is it okay? It might be a bit. Yeah, it's whatever. It's okay. So my 10-7 off is in there. So we can look at hands without a spade. So this is like no spade hands, so we can see my hand is betting quite a lot. Like checking slightly higher EV, but the strategy is a heavy bet strategy anyway. So bet. The guy's not supposed to raise. I mean, it's pretty easy for me to start Nodelocking this, to be honest. It's like has him like never raising a flush, which is also has him never raising a flush draw. But that becomes slightly like whatever anyway, because the ones that I would say probably always raises are like the ace of spades, which then goes over on the turn, so it's kind of whatever. I mean, I think he's going to end up jamming stuff like, you know, jack 9 with a jack of spades, but whatever. Let's just look at the equilibrium. That's what I said I was going to do, more or less. So my hand is, let's have a little look. My hand is supposed to bet the turn. It does quite like betting the turn. Once it gets here, it does like betting the turn. So far so good. We used a very small size, so it's not a massive surprise. I mean, this is actually pretty interesting. This is probably worth looking at Range Explorer, because on the 4 to a flush, probably want to actually look at like exactly how we're betting. Obviously we've got flushes. That's how's it going, Pred? So this is what the betting looks. No, sorry. This is what the betting looks like. This is all combos. So we've obviously got lots of air. We've got some flushes. We got some cool stuff going on with like 2-pair betting. So I want to have a little look at this 2-pair. We've got like ace king is like pure betting for this size, which is pretty interesting to see a hand with 52% equity, which is a 2-pair, no flush on 4 to a flush, betting at such a high frequency. Such a high frequency. Actually prefers betting. And I'm going to assume that the reason for that is because it gets called by worse. Let's have a look. Pretty rough following vaccine on Saturday, otherwise decent. Oh. Well, hopefully you're over the worst of it, Pred. Yeah. Hopefully you're feeling better and going to feel better and better. What's today? Monday, so it was on Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we're better soon, Pred. So, phasing a bet. Let's have a look at what's calling. So, let's look at calling with no spade. Well, for a start, we've got stuff like, you know, we've got worse calling. So this is where it gets really fun and tricky blind v blind. We can value bet worse than a flush on 4 to a flush, is what I'm trying to say here, which is pretty cool. It's not necessarily immediately intuitive, but if we're talking about betting a quarter of the pot, and we're talking about the imposition only folding 21% of the time he's going to need to find some calls that aren't flushes. So when we remove the flushes from his range, this is what the in positions range looks like. So he's got a bunch of like, king 3 off. Well, I say a bunch of. King 3 off is 2 pair. So he's got worse than 2 pair if you've got ace king, whatever. But yeah, he's got some hands that. What's this? 10-4. What's he doing with 10-4? So we've got hands like 10-4, which is a pair of 4s. So 10-4 of hearts has to click call sometimes. It has to click call sometimes. 10-4 of hearts has to click call sometimes. Otherwise, I'm printing with my bluffs. So maybe that gives you a little idea why I thought this was like a reasonable spot to go for it. We can argue about the river, but we're not at the river yet. Are we betting some 1-pair hands? Are we betting some 1-pair hands? That's a good question. Are we betting some 1-pair hands? Well, we're betting some 5-3, but I think that's probably a bluff at this point. 5-3, no spade. Again, we're betting like ace 4 and ace 3, but I think we can see now that's well, yeah, it's got 51% equity, but using the quarter to pot sizing, knowing you get called by worse, it's going to fall into the value bet category because nothing better is folding. So yeah, two pairs of value betting here. We've got a hand like 3-4, which is bottom 2 is checking. So 1-pair hands. Let's think about maybe king 7 off. King 7 off. That's a lot of checking. We got the ace x. Oh, checking. So no, it looks like 1-pair hand doing a lot of checking. And yeah, we don't actually have that many flushes at this point. So it actually makes sense that when we have a flush, we do an awful lot of checking. But yeah, it's blind v blind. Blind v blind's a mess at the best of times, and then when you bring 4 to a flush, things start getting really strange. But yeah, anyway, so I bet the turn and get a call, and now the river's 5 to a flush, and now it's like, what the hell is going on here? 5 to a flush. What does it look like? Well, first of all, I don't do that much shoving, so let's go to the range explorer. So I don't do that much shoving, even though it's 4. Well, it's just over pot. So when I shove, I have. Oh, hold on. What's this? Ha! Well, yeah. I suppose this is what happens when there's a flush on board. You've basically got. Yeah, basically everything counts as. This is counting everything as nothing, right? It's counting everything as nothing, which is bizarre. So let's look at what my flushes actually do. Yeah, well, I can't. This is actually really weird. It's like I can't actually have anything apart from, sure, I do have. Yeah, I have some flushes from my non-suited hands, but I don't actually have any. What am I talking? I'm even confusing myself now. 5 to a flush, right? Okay, so the turn was 4 to a flush. River's 5 to a flush. So this brings the potential to chop some stuff, especially because we know that in position is calling some non-flushes on the turn. We have potential to have a chopping situation. Okay, river strategy. Mainly checking, not a surprise. Not much shoving, but a little bit. Let's have a look at what it looks like. So yeah, our nuts is obviously like queens, jacks of spades. So it's such a bizarre spot. Having a spade is obviously amazing, and without a spade we're all just like the same, right? Just low equity. So my actual hand was 10-7 off. 10-7 10-7 off. And you can see that 10-7 off does do everything. It does do some checking. It does do quite a lot of third pot on the river, and it does some shoving as well. It does do some shoving. It's probably not going to love. I'm just comparing the EVs. It's probably not going to love. No, actually, it does actually quite like using the small size. Yeah, so 10-7 off, no spade is quite enjoying betting third on the river. But yeah, I jammed, I got called. So far my hand does play like that. Sometimes I jammed. What's he supposed to call? So he tanked this down, didn't he? He tanked it down. It's a pure call. So I already just don't really care about this hand. I think it's fine. Like if he's going to tank 20 seconds with a pure call, like what's he supposed to mix? That's the interesting stuff. Yeah, so yeah, he calls for a chop sometimes. That's weird. Look at that if you've got kings even. So yeah, hold on. So well, for a start, it never folds a spade, so that makes sense, right? So he's tanking with the 9 of spades, so I think my entire line is just printing. Hey kid, I was going to do some study post-session on stream, bud. Stop stealing my ideas. How was your day? I think I lost a little bit, but it was fine. It was kind of fun. How was your day? Because I know you made some final tables, right? Betting 10-7 off more without a spade than with a spade. Yeah, gotta bluff sometimes. What does Max think of this? Max is probably just like kind of whatever about this. This is some random, but sometimes you just gotta bet. Small, 5 to a flush. So just popped it in, and I basically got a massive tank from the guy. Yeah, there's no delay. Got a massive tank from the guy who's supposed to just like pure snap every spade. But yeah, it is a pretty interesting hand, to be fair. Max probably seen some stuff like this before on these really weird boards, but if we go back to the turn, I've been really restrictive with my bet sizing because I wanted just to do this pretty quick. But 4 to a flush, blind v blind, 20 bigs effective. The betting strategy on the turn on 4 to a flush is not restricted to flushes only for the value bets, which yeah, I think some people that might seem fine for. Some people might find that a bit strange, but if we're betting really small on the turn on 4 to a flush, he has to call with some stuff that is not a flush, so we do actually get to value bet non-flush hands. For example, 2 pairs, like if we've got king 3 off, king 4 off, or ace king suited, we bet them, and he is supposed to call some really funky stuff on the turn. He's supposed to mix calls with like 10-4 of hearts, which is pretty cool. So yeah, and hands that can improve. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm still out here grinding. So much heart. Good stuff, Max. It is weird. It's really weird, isn't it? Like, yeah. The 4 to a flush is blind v blind is weird enough, and then you add 4 to a flush, and then you bring 5 to a flush on the river, and it's just a big mess. If he tanks 9s, yeah, he did tank the 9 of spades, and yeah, we can just bluff everything. Can I show how to node lock in PIO 2? I tried to do it, ending up just clicking, not knowing what I'm doing. Yeah, it is very different from PIO 1. Am I English, by the way? Yeah, I am. I'm from Worcester. I'm from the Shire, from the farm. But yeah, I've moved to Finland. Been living in Finland for about 5 years. They're weird. Yeah, they're strange ones. Good luck with the rest of your games, by the way, Max. You've been going a while now, so nice heart. Yeah, I can show you how to node lock. So we can do this now on this board as we're here. So probably a good place to start is the flop. I was very restrictive with strategy, but I only let him jam over a c-bet. And if you only let him jam, he will not jam at equilibrium, but we all know that people will jam. So let's sort that out. So let's go node lock, bring this up. And yeah, it's a bit weird. So straight away, everything looks like it's selected or highlighted. I'm not sure why it highlights stuff, but at the moment, everything is... Well, everything's unlocked at the moment. Everything's unlocked to equilibrium, I think. So let's say, and this is a cool thing here. You can select parts of the range using expressions. So the one thing you can do is... how should we do this? The coolest thing you can do is you can set equity thresholds. And I forget which way it goes, but I think you can go EQ, like less than, more than. Let's try it. Equity less than 30. So this is really cool. You just type in, if you want to select hands that have less than 30% equity, just type in EQ less than 30, and it's shown you everything. It's shown you everything that matches that. So it's now selected everything with less than 30% equity. And you can say, okay, he's just always folding those. For instance, let's just say he's always folding. Let's just check the range. Like there's no pairs in here. There's no spades. So in this spot, he probably genuinely is folding everything with no pair, with no spade. He might continue 6-7. We'll give him the 6-7 benefit of the doubt. We'll give him those gut shot type things. But this is actually, for a random, this is probably not the worst thing in the world. So now I've edited it, it's gone into that. So let's just say he folds it all. So we just drag that to fold. So now obviously he's folding more than he should do. Click lock, and then you want to click lock all here, I think. Because there's a chance, sometimes if you change the way certain hands play and you only lock those hands, other parts of the range will play differently to compensate. So for instance, it will start, yeah, so for instance, if you only lock part of the range and say, oh, we're now going to raise less, it's probably going to make other parts of the range raise a bit more. But not necessarily, but that's the kind of thing it will do. So if you want to just say, okay, he's folding a bit too much, so he's going to fold everything with less than 30% equity without a gut shot, then you want to lock that and then lock all, and then it will make sure that no other hands start getting more sticky, for example, or whatever. Or, yeah, so anyway, and then just save and close, and then just rerun it. It's already ran to 0.4, but let's just click go again. Does that help? It's quite an interesting interface, the node locking, but hopefully that works. Cool. Awesome. So first thing we'll see, he's now folding quite a lot more. We're probably just going to see a range bet from out of position, which was betting about 77% on the flop anyway. We're probably going to see a range bet now. So there we go. See a range bet from out of position because he's folding a bit too much. Nice. Accent, very English sounding. Then started Finland, I was unsure. That's true because if a Finn speaks English, sometimes it can sound American. Sometimes it can just sound not American. See you out there tomorrow, Anybed. Sure thing, man. See you there tomorrow. So yeah, now he's folding a bit too much. We just get to range bet flop, but by the same token, he's folding a bit too much. Then we start betting range. We then end up betting less on the turn because we've now isolated it against a slightly stronger range. So now we actually check range on the turn. So this would be an argument for me to for me to play the hand differently. Potentially. But like I said, he's still supposed to like mix calls with his 4x. So we could do the same thing again. We could lock the turn and see what happens. So he's supposed to mix calls with 3x as well. So I'm not going to go crazy and say, oh, he's only going to call with flushes. I'm not going to go absolutely crazy because I just want to illustrate how small changes can make a big impact. So I'm not going to say he's folding twice as much. You know, he's folding 40% instead of 20, but he's supposed to fold 20. So maybe I make him fold like 24. Let's see. So node lock. This is his reaction. Node lock again. And now I'm just gonna select 3x. This is really cool. You can use it in here. So I just go 3x and it just selects all the 3x, which is I think it's a bit confused. I think it's a bit confused because of the 4 to a spade, because it's only selected that. So I'll just do it manually, I guess. So no 2 pairs, no spades. So 3-4's 2 pair. 3-5 would sort of be like a gut shot. I'll leave that in. 3-6, 3-7, 3-8, 3-9, 3-10, Queen 3. So basically Queen 3 to 6-3 and 3-2 of clubs, diamonds, and hearts, not spades. So that is about 2%. About 2%, 24 combos that I think he might always fold. But I'll keep things simple. Instead of saying maybe he sometimes folds his 4x, I'll just say he always folds his 3x and he'll still mix his 4x. So I've selected the hands I think he's going to always fold, or at least model on the fact that he's always going to fold. And you can see that his fold percentage went up by 1.8%. It went from folding 20% of the time to folding 22%. Let's lock that in. Lock, save and close. Let's do the same thing again to see if our range check strategy on the turn holds. This is good. Smoked Salmon, how's it going? You don't see this a lot on Twitch. Thank you, sir. No problem. No problem. Can I use this sound effect? I could use this sound effect this one time. This one time.
I'm an educator.
Just this one time. And it's done. Let's have a look. So we were originally checking range on the turn, and now with a 2% overfold, we're now going to use a 13% bet strategy. Betting about 13% of the time. And look at that. My hand, my actual hand, absolutely loves a bet now. Loves a bet. Loves a bet. And now we're probably going to see something. Are we going to see something similar on the river? Let's actually let's look at a brick river. Now it's funny. Now a brick river is a river that isn't a spade. Okay, so when. Okay. This is actually pretty. Can we look at all rivers? I think I can look at all. So what rivers do we go crazy on? It's all kind of the same, isn't it? It's all apart from the spade. Right, okay, so it looks like when we hit the 5 of spades, I have tightened his range up sufficiently where he is now. We're now supposed to check everything, and it would look like my hand is not doing too good as a bet. That being said, if we think he's going to fold, oh well, now this is interesting. This actually doesn't count because this is now a equilibrium river response based on the fact that we've already messed around with his flop and his turn response. So this kind of doesn't really matter. But he's not really supposed to fold with a spade, and he did tank the 9 of spades. So I'm not going to no-lock the river. We've already no-locked the flop on the turn, just mainly to showcase the no-locking. But I think you guys get the idea anyway. Kind of a fun one. Kind of a fun hand. So yeah, he did call, and that was the third bullet. GG. And yeah. So hold on. We only no-lock folding 3x, right? That's all that happened. Yeah, I just said he's going to fold 3x. You can see that here, that he's now purely folding the 3x. I left in the 5-3 to do what it wants, because that's kind of like a gut shot as well. And we already saw that betting and calling on the turn can contain value hands that are not flushes. So two pairs can value bet on the turn for out of position for a small size, and one pair hands no flush will have to call from in position. This is where it gets so grimy for both players, mainly in position facing aggression. In position has to get so sticky with so many hands, otherwise out of position is just going to print with the bluffs. So I'm going to ask if you guys want to look at a particular spot, a particular hand, because that was like the last hand of the day. Unfortunately, I couldn't do my three-way spot, but so we shouldn't bluff rivers versus population. Well, it depends. What makes you say that? Because generally speaking, population is a bit of a folder. If they come to the river with a really strong range, that's something. Yeah, that is something that we have to be aware of. And there are spots, and things like cash games are good examples of this. But there are spots where it's really hard to get to the river and then bet without having a really strong hand, and then you get into a situation where if some dude is like value betting quads and full houses, and it's really hard for him not to have a full house, then if you're sat there with the bottom full house or a middle full house, you're in a pretty grim spot. That doesn't happen as much in tournaments, but yeah, sometimes with 3 streets of action, you can get into the river. You can get to a river where both ranges are really tight, and if that's the case, then yeah, you have to regulate the bluffs for sure. It's true that we're tanking with the 9 of spades. Yeah, 9 of spades should be a snap for sure. So yeah, I'm really reluctant to node-lock the river, but at the same time, it would make a good point. I could node-lock the river and show him folding. I mean, he tanked this, so I could, for the sake of argument, have him say always folding. Oh, I've just seen this is like really easy for him to have a straight flush. So with a 2. Shall I just have him always folding the 7 of spades and nothing else? Just have him always folding the 7 of spades and we'll see what happens? Let's just do that. Let's just have him always folding the 7 of spades. So, so the 7 of spades is, well, let's just do it in here. This will be pretty quick. Hey. 7 of spades? Has that done it? Whee! 7 of spades. So you can see the 7 of spades is calling like 90%. If we just have the 7 of spades always folding, but he'll just call everything else. He'll just call everything else. I mean, now he's folding like a lot. That's just, you can see now. So this is his spades combo. So I've just made him fold the 7 of spades. He's calling every other spade. Calling the 2 because it's a straight flush, right? He's going to call the 6 of spades because it's kind of blocks a straight flush. Anyway, I don't want to have him folding half of his flushes. That's ridiculous. But let's just see the 7 of spades is folding. No, I can't have him fold those. Just want those. Okay, so he's going to call the 8-7 and stuff like that. So I have to change that. But yeah, it's just fun. 7 of spades. Where is it? These ones. So I'll have him calling all of these. Just selected those. Call 100. I have to unlock again. So yeah, so he's calling those. Lock. Save and close. Oh, there we go. So there we go. So he's just folding these. He's just folding these. He's calling. I've sorted that out. He's calling Queen 7 suited for sure. He's just going to fold like, you know. He's just going to call Queen 7. He's just going to fold Queen 7 with a 7 of spades. That kind of thing. That kind of thing. So now let's have a look. Now we can see, for example. Yeah, let's have a look. Go, go, go. Beard adds 0.1 to raising, surely. It could do. Do you think a beard raise is more aggressive than a average raise? We'll leave in the 6 of spades because it kind of, it's like the 3, 4, 5, 6 of spades is kind of like a straight flush type, blocky type thing. I know the 7 is as well, but I just picked one of them. I just picked one of them. It really doesn't matter at this point. And just trying to make a point of him folding, say, 5% more. And now this is like crazy, right? This is what happens. It's gone from bluffing. Like, what was it? Was it 0? Was he checking everything? And now like this 10-7 off, right? Where we can see, you can see here the 10-7 off. It's just, yeah. So if you don't have a spade, it's just, you can see it's just pure. I'm pointing at the screen, but it's like every single time, just fucking go nuts, just jam, just bluff. If you don't have a, I mean, look at this. This is our range with no spade. Just bluff, just bluff. I think we were checking range, so it's just bluff everything. So again, I'm not saying that our opponent was playing like this. Purely an example. If you think you've got a good read, or if you think you've got a population read, or if you think there's a chance and you're willing to, you know, bet on your gut feeling. And this is just an example how relatively small changes in strategy, like folding an extra 2%, 3%, can change a strategy from saying, from say, checking everything and never bluffing to bluffing every single time. So pretty cool. Pretty cool.